my first advice is, first of all, before you do this, you haven't dated for a long time, you got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I dateable? You got to be honest.
Okay.
You need to have like a conversation with yourself in the mirror. And I hate to say that. I always say I'm sorry, but look in the mirror.
Bed. Love.
Bed.
Love. Beyond. Bed, love, beyond. Bed, love, beyond.
All right, hey everybody, what's going on? This is Bed Love Beyond, the podcast for the hopeful and the hater in us to discuss sex, love, and whatever's clever with like-minded people like you who are also in limbo with love.
Like us.
Thank you for listening to us on Podbean, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, and
Google Play Music.
Please rate, review, like, and subscribe to us on any of the devices that you listen to. So, this episode is going to be pretty cool because it kind of goes with the episode that your niece was on, Jasmine, episode 77, which was what is love in the day in the life of a millennial and what that means. And so this episode is episode 82, Searching for Love at the Age of the Baby Boomer. And we have a special guest with us, and she is an award-winning writer and producer, and she received the 2015 New Apple Literary Award for Humor and the 2016 Reader's Reviews finalist in Romance, and she's won awards in film festivals across the U.S. and abroad, and her most recent digital productions group released Homestead Loves Mulch, and that was featured on Funny or Die and Comedy Take, and also that we've currently found out that she's a New Jersey native, and her name is Angela Page. How you doing, Angela?
Welcome,
Hi.
Angela.
How's everything?
I'm good. Ready to talk. I'm not 82. It's podcast 82, but I'm not 82. But we're going to talk about 82-year-old sex.
Oh, are we now? Oh, okay.
Alrighty.
That's awesome. All right, so just a little housekeeping. We are an international podcast, and some people might not know what a baby boomer is. So can you please, Angela, explain what a baby boomer is?
Sure. Well, you talked about millennials, and I think those millennials were born, I believe, after 1990. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, pretty much. Well, boomers, I believe, run from people born worldwide from 46 to 64. So basically, baby boom after the World War II is what that means.
Okay.
So in fact, the boomers are have already turned 50. The oldest boomer is now 53 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, the youngest boomers are 53, 54. The oldest ones are now over 70.
Right.
So it's a big class of people, and there's like 75 billion boomers worldwide. And when I talk about dating, I said there's a lot of a date. So people shouldn't like despair because there are a lot of boomers around the world.
Yeah, I saw that. It said during the boom, almost 77 million babies were born in the United States alone, comprising nearly 40% of the American population.
Right, that's right. So now, of course, everybody is now everybody's 50 plus. So, and everybody's got marriages, kids, grandkids. Some even have great grandchildren, I guess. There's a lot of issues to do with love and dating and sex now. Once you get into the golden years, the autumn and the winter of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and do you find that not a lot of people are, well, let me phrase it another way. Do you see that there are more single baby boomers and not people like, lasting in couples?
Yeah, well, obviously there's a lot of women too. A lot of women that, because traditionally men, die before women. So a lot of single women, a lot of widows, a lot of divorcees. But some people are staying single for a reason. They got burnt, by divorce or divorces. Or they're still grieving, over a loss of a partner. So there's a lot of single boomers by choice, and some of them that just can't find the right mate. So that's why I partnered up with a couple of dating experts that did this in the pre-internet era, and based on their material, we came up with the dating guide for boomers that's attached to my new novella. Wow. And there we explore. There's a workbook attached, a dating guide boot camp 10-step program, and I think it's funny, and it's very honest. because at a certain age, you've got to do. There's other things you can't do, like you guys, millennials, they'll just swipe on Tinder, or they'll go on dating sites, and they'll jump out the door with their whatever, and they'll just go on a date. Boomers have to work at it. So my first advice is, first of all, before you do this, you haven't dated for a long time, you got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I dateable? You got to be honest.
Okay.
You need to have like a conversation with yourself in the mirror. And I hate to say that. I always say I'm sorry, but look in the mirror. and I got a lot of guff about that, by the way. A lot of people didn't like that. They said, "Oh, but it's got to be the inner person." Screw that. You got to look attractive enough to get somebody to talk to you, for starters, in a bar or at an event or something.
Right.
You don't want to look disheveled and have all that baggage, that emotional baggage showing on your face.
Right. Right.
Right? And that's the problem. Boomers have a lot of baggage.
Right.
And I say, don't unpack that excess baggage. Kids, grandkids, divorces, deaths, dysfunctional families, many generations. You got to drop it, Otherwise, you carry that with you, and that's a big. The other guys, millennials, go out. What have they been? A couple of relationships, maybe.
Right.
Maybe a dysfunctional family. Maybe. Not.
Maybe.
But but the boomer, it could be multiple dysfunctional families and blended families and all this. So you got to drop that. So you got to have an attitude check and a physical check too, before you go out on this as part of the work, the 10-step program.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
No, it absolutely does make sense. Yeah, because I was reading this article, and there are dating habits of 3 generations, which is, of course, the millennials, the Gen Xers, and the baby boomers. And it was I saw some surprising things, and you hit it on the head with the millennials, where one of their things is they have less structured dating, but with more frequent communication. So they have high expectations about love, served with a side of anxiety. So there's a lot of that. And the Gen Xers, I guess would be Jen and I, living with so many options makes choosing the right partner difficult, and less rushing into relationships, but greater appreciation for what they already have. And with the baby boomers, it's certainty and wants and needs makes forging a new relationship challenging. When it comes to dating, no time wasting is allowed. Have you found that in your?
Oh yeah, I'll give you a personal example.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, I met a guy. He was a little bit older than I was, and I said to him, we're not getting any younger, and we could both drop dead tomorrow. We just have to accelerate it. Just don't waste any time. Let's figure this out, or go our separate ways.
Right.
So I accelerated. It's right, because you're right. You don't have the same amount of time. You don't have to screw. So I said, I'm not going to screw around with dating. So I actually just moved in with the guy. And I did something really crazy. That you're not. I didn't follow any of my rules, by the way.
Oh no. Okay. Well, what? Okay. Well, what are your rules? What are your rules?
I have the rules about there's 6 date. I just finished an article for a website called 60andMe called the 6-date rule.
Okay.
I didn't follow any of that.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't follow any of the. I did do some of the rules. I googled. I knew it was a friend of a friend. But I didn't follow it, and it's true. You don't have enough time. There's a lot of things. By the way, there's other things that are really that the boomers have, especially the older boomers, and that's medical conditions. And I have a section about discussing and revealing, or not to reveal, medical conditions too early.
Right.
So these are things that don't specifically hit Xers or millennials, because the older you get, the more stuff is going to go wrong. And I checked the statistics. The number of conditions, not so much life-threatening, but just normal conditions, is astounding. It's probably 2/3 of people you're going to meet over a certain age, especially if you get older. The over 70s and 80s are going to have at least one condition, if not 2.
Oh wow.
So so those are things that I'm going to do another article about revealing, or how to reveal conditions to each other, and how to deal with it, because that's a whole other piece that that I haven't really seen a lot of literature out there on that subject.
Okay. Yeah, and I also saw in this article it says that baby boomers because of like their age and their status, they're more rigid. They're more rigid and inflexible because they're set in their ways. How do you devise that baby boomers combat that?
Oh yes, that's actually in one of the other in the workbook in the boot camp is how to be more flexible and open.
Okay.
And also not to be too judgmental. That's a really big one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen a lot of these singles going out there and just blowing the first date or two because they're extremely judgmental, and that's where the 6-date rule comes in, because that's where they'll just poo-poo somebody after date 1. I say stick it out until date 6 because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
You need to explore it. But that comes from having too much experience, right? Saying, okay, and putting people in a box.
Right.
So it's important to be flexible, and that's why the 6-date rule is important, is to give enough scenarios, environments, and times of the day to see this person in action.
What was Steve Harvey's thing? It was like 60 dates or something. It was something. It was like something really unreasonable.
It was. I
like
think
30 dates or something. It was like, okay.
30 dates for what?
Like before you quote unquote give up the cookie.
Oh.
Or like before you
the sex part. Yeah, well, I have a line in my workbook that says, no sex on the first date unless you're terminal.
Whoa.
Now, is this just for baby boomers, or this should just be followed by everybody?
I would go for anybody, because if somebody else could, a lot of younger person could be terminal. But yeah, basically, don't accelerate it.
Yeah.
I mean, and unless, of course, there's some pressing reason, and one of them would be like a life-threatening illness where you could die tomorrow. And I said, okay, go for it. So.
Wow.
Otherwise, we should wait. But,
I did read something somewhere that there's like a really high rise of like, I guess the baby boomer generation, like of women getting STDs.
Yes.
Because
right, the increasing rate.
Right, because they're just we never use condoms.
I have a mantra in page 2 or 3 of my guide that says, protection and not infection. Oh yeah, in fact, when I do a talk at these big retirement, there is actually one retirement community in Florida, I won't mention one, that has the highest rated STDs. I was there last year, and I could tell, because you go to the events there,
yeah,
and the guys are just you guys swarm over to the women at the bar. God. It was unbelievable. I could see why. Because they're just all hell breaks loose. So when I do the talk at these communities in Florida, I'm gonna just have a big sign around my neck and say, "Protection, not infection." Maybe I'll do T-shirts.
Oh, that's awesome! Yes, do it.
Yeah. Do T-shirt. I'll sell that with the book.
Awesome.
Right?
Yes, there you go. There's an idea.
That's a good one. Yeah. So that's a big one. The STD rates definitely. And so I had a friend out here. She's in her 70s, who actually was one of these women that got it, and she went to the gynae, right, the doctor.
Yeah.
And when he found out, it was a female doctor, made this horrific face when he announced, looking at her going, how did you get this?
Right.
And she was, and of course it was like a one night thing, like one of those deals, so I mean, it's people can't put this is not what you saw in movies, years ago about older people. People are hip and they're out there and they're carrying on.
Yeah, because I have a friend whose mom's significant other passed away, and I remember this past 4th of July, she was like, yeah, I'm just trying to get myself out there and stuff, and I guess it was my fault for being ignorant. And I was like, "What? Get out where?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Yeah, I want to date again." And like I'm on, what did she say? She was like on OK Cupid and stuff. And I was like, "What? Really?" I was like, "Show me these men that you're looking at, please." And then like it was so much fun. I was like, "Wow!" Like
you're right. But by the way, I have a section on that as well. The online stuff is really, it's very dicey for especially widows. So I've heard already many stories of guys targeting women that say they're widows. The ones that are out there to scam, right, for money.
Oh.
So I've told a lot of these women, do not put on there that you're a widow from day one. You can reveal it on day 2 or 3 or 4.
Right.
But don't say that on the site because they'll target you.
They're like, oh, do they have survivor benefits?
Exactly. They're widows. Maybe they got an inheritance. Who knows? So there's a lot of that out there.
Oh, that's messed up. That's not cool.
I know. They're prey. They prey on them. And so so the other piece there, which actually is good for anybody when you're going out and you live alone, is to put a Post-it note on your screen or somewhere visible of where you're going, so you know who you're going with. So in case you go missing.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, we do that now. We give each other license plate numbers and Instagram accounts, and
there's also apps for that too that can track.
Yeah,
like real detail too.
Yeah. But the problem is a lot of especially the older boomers are not tech savvy.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah,
you're right. You have to and I deal with that too. And you're talking about how people breaking up with each other on text and Twitter, using. So I go through the whole thing because a lot of them like to be really, with it and cool, and they get their grandchildren to teach them how to do this stuff, and then do it badly. I gave my neighbors who were in their 70s.
Yeah.
They had to order an Uber yesterday.
Right.
So we had three Uber lessons.
Oh, okay.
And then I had to be up at 6 a.m. in case their Uber fell through. So they paid it, but yeah. So I mean, you have to be patient, and all that stuff. So and that brings me to also the fact that they email. They still like to email. A lot of boomers still email, which is obviously not a big thing, right? With the millennials, especially millennials, and maybe so much X gens. But so I also advise just don't do anything important on text or email. Always do it in person,
right,
or over the phone, because things can be misconstrued. I see lots of miscommunication by text.
That's true too. So so they what? So they communicate by email?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. What's email?
Well, it's not even that. It's just
what's that? Yeah.
No, it's just that how did they initially get the person? That's what I mean. That's why I'm like, how did they get the person's information from? I don't know. That's interesting to me.
Right. And then some of them will do Facebook, right?
Oh, okay, right.
Some on Facebook, they like to see they do with the grandkids, and they do. So it depends. It depends. But I say, just be aware that, and also said, and I started to use some of the millennial terms. I said no ghosting, right? they have to explain what a ghosting is. And I just learned a new one, and that's called love bombing.
Oh, I think we've talked about that. Yeah.
I never heard about that. Yeah.
Yes. Well. Yeah, that's like when you get overwhelmed by attention by someone, and then they just disappear. Is that what that is?
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what it is. Yep.
Yeah, that happens too, right?
Love
bomb. That happens in a lot of relationships, though. In the beginning, everyone's like, "Oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, you're great. You're so wonderful. Let's spend all this time together." And then it's like, I got stuff to do. What? You didn't have stuff to do last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I gotta include that one. Had I known about this, I would have put it in the book.
Right.
I think it's a good one. Yeah, but that actually comes in that sudden attraction one about. And sometimes, they'll get overwhelmed with the chemistry. That's the other reason for the 6-date rule, is to watch that if it fizzles out by date 6, or there's some red flag, or some deal breaker, that whatever. Now, in my article it's going to come out in a couple days about dates 1 to 6-date rule.
Yeah,
I talk about my first date with husband number 2, and he revealed that he had 3 kids, but it wasn't until date 3 that I found out they were triplets and 10 years old. I freaked out. I had triplet panic.
Oh, wow.
Triplet panic.
Until I met them, and they were cute. They were 10. They were great, and
right.
Now they're grown and all this, and they have kids of their own.
Right.
So it worked out, but that was like another reason to go to the 6th date. It wasn't until after date 6 that I met the triplets.
Right. So what did you feel, or what did you expect when you got hit with that news? You were like, oh, I don't want to be your mom, or what was going through your head?
What am I going to do? No, I was 29 years old. I remember looking out there and I said, what am I going to do? Because he had partial custody. He had full custody of 1, and the other 2 were partial. So the chances were I'm going to see a lot. I'm going to have them all with me half the time, which is true. Yeah, no, I was freaked out, totally freaked out.
Wow.
And it took a lot. I met them, and it was okay. We didn't speak the same language, but we did, and we couldn't communicate for at least a year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, that was tough. But yeah, it was quite an experience. But as I said, we went through a lot of stuff. I was lucky though with the triplets plus my own son that was born some years later. I went through the whole teenage years and their early adulthood. There was no prison, no teen pregnancies, no drugs.
Right.
No huge dramas, and that's so unusual. And I thank them. I thank all 4 kids.
Yeah, thank you for not giving me a heart attack.
I did. They turned. The 3 of them turned 40 last year. I stood up at their birthday party and said, "Thank you for not or getting knocked up or knocking somebody else up because there's too much."
Right.
Before you were an adult. Thank you for that.
All right. So, where do okay, so let's say I'm a single baby boomer. Where would I go? What do I do to go and find a date?
Okay, if you're a woman, don't go to a meetup because there's only women there. All these meetups that I've seen them, I've been to a few just to check it out. There's like 50 women and 1 man, and the 1 man just disappears. He's so overwhelmed.
Why is that?
Yeah, a lot of them go online. They go online. There's a lot of the communities. The ones that have the over 55s and there's a lot of events that go on in these places. So they tend to then have parties and other things that they can get together, and they meet each other, they introduce each other. But otherwise, I recommend people to go to meetups, but for other, not singles meetups, but to other interests. Go to the book clubs, the movie meetups, or anything else that you're passionate about.
Okay.
And try to meet a wide variety of people.
I think that's
a
great
idea.
idea.
Get younger friends, because all your other friends are going to die.
Oh, shit.
It's true. I make it a point. Get friends that are younger, because you ever see older people say, "Oh, my friends are dead and all my family is dead," right?
Well, that's true.
So make sure you get people about 10, 15, years younger than you are.
Right.
Otherwise, you'd be sitting there alone.
Wow.
With no place to go. So there are places. It's tough.
I'm sure it is.
You just have to it's a crapshoot. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. All right. So what is exactly in this baby boomer boot camp dating guide?
Okay, so it's attached to a novella.
Yes.
Called Suddenly Single Sylvia.
Yes.
And it's a novella about a 55-year-old woman who's dumped by her alcoholic husband for a trophy wife.
Okay.
And she's left, and she's kind of a hypochondriac, and she likes to sneak the Prozac and the Xanax and all that stuff. But she wants to go natural, so she's broke. And she wants to become a dating coach, so she starts doing singles events. So that's the novella part. It's a fun story. It's kind of Grace and Frankie meet Golden Girls.
Okay.
I love Grace and Frankie.
Yeah, right. And Golden Girls, she's got a couple of roommates. She's got a trans Asian called Kiki,
right,
who also still works as a waiter and has to dress like a guy, and a Latina chiropractor called Dr. Honey Garcia, who chants in a language like Klingon and Mandarin and heals people. So those are her roommates, because she needs to rent her rooms out in her house.
Right.
So that's a short novella. And then afterwards, there's this Boomer Boot Camp Dating Guide, and it's got 10 steps. And as to some of the steps I've already kind of outlined a little bit about, are you dateable? Look
right.
in the mirror, and you better dress and act dateable, and drop all your baggage.
Right.
And it has also exercises to write in. And you can the book is a 6x9, so you can write in the book itself.
Okay.
So, of course, if you do it on Kindle, you have to do something else more creative. But otherwise, the actual book is big enough for you to write down your stuff. Cool. And I try to make it uplifting. It's not the end of the world. And also for divorcees, there's a lot of issues, divorcees and widows, especially and I have been both, by the way.
Okay.
Several times. So
mm-hmm.
I can relate to people coming out of divorce and grief, as to knowing when to start dating again, and to be aware of whether you're ready for this and how to go about it.
Awesome.
So we cover that material, and I'd love to do a sequel, because we do deal with I'd love to do a dating guide and in conjunction with a transgender, a boomer transgender, because I think there's probably a whole other host of information that could be disseminated.
Oh wow, that is a concoction. Wow.
Yeah, I put that at the end, soon to come, because I'm hopeful that somebody's going to come my way and say, "Oh, I'll do this with you."
No, that would be great.
Silver,
oh, wow.
So I call it the Guide for Silver LBGTQs, actually.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's great.
Yeah, something good like that. So that's a hope. So far we released about 2 weeks ago. I also re-released my first book called Matched in Heaven, which is a novel that deals with a support group for dead people to match their spouses on Earth.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's run by a disgraced priest.
Okay.
And psychic, yes. So that got a couple of awards. That was released. I re-released that actually with a new cover last week. So both books are on Amazon.
Oh wow. Okay, cool. Oh, so you said both books are on Amazon.
Yeah, both books are on Amazon.
Okay. Do you have a website that people can go to for more information on you?
I do. Yes, my website, which is angelapage.net. It's angelapageruntogether.net.
Okay.
www.
And you on Facebook or Instagram or anything?
I am on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram yet. I'm on Twitter at Single Sylvia.
Okay.
And what about on Facebook? Angela Page?
Angela Page, correct.
All right, we're going to look you up.
Okay. Oh, God, and Sylvia the book has a page as well. Both books have pages on Facebook. It's Single Sylvia and Matched in Heaven. Both have their own pages on Facebook.
Cool.
And Matched in Heaven has an animated book trailer that I produced.
Oh, all right.
Oh, we'll definitely share all that stuff.
It's fun. Yeah, I was really lucky. I was able to gather freelancers to do this, and I wrote the script, and I had a great animator. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Oh, that's awesome. It always feels good to be creative.
Book trailers look like shit most of the time. You ever seen somebody should do like a whole website of shitty book trailers.
That's funny.
I was like, it was nauseous. I was nauseous, I was
like, what is this?
A decent book trailer. Yeah, I'm gonna produce a decent book trailer, so I think it's okay. I got more hits than the Facebook page. It's gotten like 600 hits on YouTube.
Oh, well, there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Sweet.
Book trailer. Yeah.
All right, cool. Is there any last things you want to put in, Jen?
I love you guys. You guys are great.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing. This is fabulous. And God, it was and we should do this when my next incarnation, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like booked. Maybe it's the next dating guide. We'll see how we go with the next volume.
No, absolutely. And thank you so much for being a guest of ours and also listening to our episodes. We love the feedback.
Yes, I enjoy them, and I will keep enjoying them too. I will be spreading the word.
And we'll definitely let you know when your episode pops up, and we'll post all your information about your books and everything like that, because it's definitely, an untouched market that's super important. And, we're just trying to spread love, not just for our people, but people who raised us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, and the ones that raised them.
Right.
They're all crawling around the dating sites too.
Yeah.
My grandma passed away when she was 75 in 2009, unfortunately. But my grandma was married 5 times.
Really?
Twice to the same person.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
She's a rebel, and she used to tell me, quote unquote, "Do it till you get it right."
Oh, good. That's very good. We should quote her.
She was awesome. She was definitely a little spitfire around Bergen County. You might have known her, but
I'm working on number 5 too. So that's what I'll say. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it until I get it right. If anybody poo-poos me and calls me like the serial, the serial bride.
My dad used to call her the Widowmaker, but I mean,
yeah, Black Widow.
Yeah. That's what he used to call her, but she had no shame in her game, and she was awesome about it. So
no shame in her game. Love that.
So she was good, and I continually take pages from her book in life. So
terrific. You guys are great. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
You're awesome. Definitely, we're gonna send out your information and look into the books and stuff like that, because I'm sure there's some good tips in there for us too.
Oh yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
We're not getting any younger anyway, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to look in that mirror. Do you look dateable?
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah, there it is.
That's the first question.
Yeah.
Not
Don't
today. I
break
don't.
the
I don't
back.
today.
Exactly. Yeah, and don't go out. The other big thing: don't go out until your plastic surgery is healed. No bandages and swelling and stuff, right?
No,
Very important.
no black eyes.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right, thanks a lot, Angela.
Okay, good. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
That's pretty cool for the baby boomers that have their own little dating guru.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, and just like you said, Jen, that is a small pocket that doesn't get talked about, because because we all, us as I guess Gen Xers are like just like whoever we're with at the time, we're gonna be forever, but sometimes you just don't know what happens, and unfortunately some people might pass away, or just things just don't pan out the way that you want, and then you're just like, what, you're like 50, 60, 70, and then you're like, oh my god, like the person that I loved is gone, like am I gonna die alone? And that must be like a horrific feeling. I mean, that's why I think a lot of people want to get people now, so they're like, yo, I'm not dying alone, fuck that shit. That's some people's worst fear. I don't think that's necessarily a fear of mine, but I definitely do not want to be alone at that age, like absolutely not. I would want to be with my with the love of my life. So but yeah, it's cool. So I'm glad that Angela was on the show, and her book again is where is it again? It is, oh no, I lost it. It's Suddenly Single Sylvia, and it took a while for me to say that because I always want to say Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors, so that always messes me up. But yeah, so I guess again, hey baby boomers, what's going on? You could write to us, because you love emails. You love writing emails. Apparently that's what Angela says. So you can email us at betloveBeyond@gmail.com, or even the Gen Xers or the Millennials. Are you scared that you might end up alone, and might not find anybody? Or like, what do you think you're gonna be like when you're like 50, 60? Are you gonna be like an old crabby person, or are you gonna be like the life of the party? How do you feel? Write to us, betloveBeyond@gmail.com. Or you can go to our website, www.betlovebeyond.com, and we'll have Angela's information on there. Also, articles discussing about baby boomers and all that stuff, baby boomers and dating. You can give us a call at 201-862-8BED. That is 201-862-8233. You can also hit us up on Facebook, talk to our fans about any episode you'd like. Our fans are pretty cool some of the time. And www.facebook.com/bedlovebeyond. Also, you can follow us at bedlovebeyond on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. All right.
And because baby boomers need love too, our song of the day is from the 1963s, and it's the Beatles, I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Aww.
Great song.
Yeah.
I'm sure they love it. I love it. Everyone loves it.
That was a great song, and you know what's so great about it too? It's super simple. It's like a 2-minute song, right?
I haven't timed it.
No. But I mean, it's like mad short. Today's song is like maybe like 3 minutes and 30 seconds or 4 minutes. It doesn't have like a lot
of complex lyrics.
It's just boom, just like, yo, I want to hold your hand. It's great. That's it. And I think what we should. What did they say? Love is simple. People make it complicated.
Right.
Maybe we just go back to that. Yo, babe, I want to hold your hand. That's it.
But we'll be having for dinner.
I know, right? Yo, forget that. Yo, let go of my hand. Yo, what we having for dinner? No, but seriously.
He's like, I want to hold your hand. Like, babe, where you want to go eat? I don't know. Whatever you want.
Oh man.
And then he's like, throws your hand.
Oh no.
I don't know why we can never decide where to eat.
Yeah, what is that? And that's like you know when it's a meme, you know it's true. So like, why? Yeah,
If
what?
it said it on the internet, it's got to be real.
Yeah, so like, yeah, what? Why do you guys don't ever know what to eat? We know that. The funny thing is,
we know what we don't want.
No. Well, that's true, but no, you guys love eating, which is fine. I find that out.
I just found that offensive. Okay.
How?
I don't know.
No.
I'm tired. I feel like being offended today.
I feel like being offended. No. A lot of chicks like they love to eat, and that's fine. But you guys never know what to eat.
Right. Because like what we like. It's like what I really want to eat right now is like all the way up Route 17, but like I can't go there. It's too late.
Oh, so it's more like.
So it's just like what's close, what's quick,
there.
how far do you want to go? Are you gonna like it? Because a lot of times it's like when I'm asked like where you want to go, I'm like, oh, I know he wants meat. Like where are we gonna go get meat from? I know he's gonna want steak. Like if we go to an Italian restaurant, what's he gonna order? Like a lot of times I'm thinking about him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, whatever you want to eat. And they're like, let's get Chinese food. No, let's not. And he's like, whatever you want, I don't care. So I've just started cooking more.
There you go.
Save money and whatever.
And you know what to eat.
And I know what to eat. It's whatever the grocery list said. Chicken cordon blues on the menu.
It's whatever's in the fridge. Yeah. All right, so that's the end of the show. My name's Martini.
Still Jen.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.